Okay, so this is a tutorial I'm doing. Let's turn the sound down a bit. This is a tutorial that I'm doing for Forza Horizon on Goliath. This is a race that a lot of people don't like doing for various reasons, but for those of you who do or who would like to learn it, this is a tutorial that I'm doing. As you can see, the car I'm using is the Hennessey Venom. This is in R1 class, and basically I'm going to talk you through how to successfully do a lap, as it were, of Goliath. So for this beginning motorway section, if you've played Horizon before, you'll probably know the track known as Freeway Blast. It's a very popular track, and this section that I'm driving on at the moment is basically Freeway Blast. It's just a long stretch of freeway. Now, most people know how to drive on freeway. It's pretty easy. You want to make sure your car can get around the corners pretty much without hitting the walls. In R1 class, that's not really much of a problem unless you're driving a Veyron. So for this section of the track, you pretty much just want to drive as fast as possible. And for this whole first, say, 23% of the race, you don't need to let your foot off the gas. Now, for this section, you want to brake about here and come down into this dirt section. Don't give it too much throttle, because that's what ends up with you nose into the wall. For this section here, you want to avoid the curbs at all cost, because if you hit the curbs, especially the ends of them, it will flip you up in the air. You want to give a lot of braking time for this corner. Give it about half throttle when coming round the centre part of the corner. Miss the curb on that corner because it's also quite deadly. This section you can just go flat out, but for this corner up here you want to brake early, get over on the left, and if you do it right you'll just sweep around, missing that deadly titanium tree. Same for this corner, brake a bit early, just allow the car to just cruise through the corner, not too much throttle. Same for this corner, brake early, cruise through, and then throttle out. For this slightly bumpy section you can pretty much just go foot to the floor, and then coming up to this corner you want to brake quite early. Don't give it much throttle, otherwise you'll end up in the wall. Most cars you can go pretty much full throttle in R1 class through here. Keep your foot down through the tunnels. Brake a little bit early. Let the car just cruise around. Throttle out of the corner. Most cars you can take this corner, well, full throttle usually. Same with this corner, just make sure you give it a lot of steering. Slow down a little for this one. Depends what car you're driving obviously, but in this case slow down a little. You want to take the throttle off for this corner, otherwise you'll end up in that barricade. Slow down a little here, give it a bit of brake, not too much. Bit of brake here as well, about half, I'd say about 50% brake in there. On this dirt section you want to keep the car as straight as possible, because once you start going sideways you're wasting time. You want to brake on the crest of this hill, turn sharply in, so you get around that corner and you don't end up in the wall. This corner can be quite deadly for many cars. You want to stay well away from that inside grass verge, it will flip your car over. Brake on this part, let your car just cruise down to this corner, bit of throttle, bit of throttle. Bit of throttle all the way through here. Don't overcompensate the handling, just let the car do its thing. Don't hit the wall like I did. Full throttle up here. For this corner you want to brake nice and early, and just don't try and take it too fast around this corner. Give it about 40% throttle and then foot to the floor out. For this section, maybe let off a bit of throttle depending on what you're driving so that the car doesn't end up in the wall. Let it cruise through here. You want to miss that inside on the right there, that'll flip you over. Give it some brake here, don't hit the house or the titanium hedges. Don't give it too much throttle over this dirt section because you will flip your car. Cruise around this first couple of more technical corners, not too much throttle. Brake nice and early. You shouldn't need to brake too much. Let your car cruise around the corner, And don't put the power down until you know you can really use it. You can come through here full throttle, little bit of brake in there, feather the throttle, slow down there. That was bad, I don't usually do that. For this section you want to go nice and slow, just little feather the throttle, make sure you give it a nice opposite lock so the car doesn't spin. You can give full throttle through this section. Once again, it depends what you're driving. You should be able to go through here, well, pretty fast, not full throttle necessarily, but pretty quick. This corner, I go quite quick around this corner. Then a bit of braking, about 30% braking, just to slow it down for this corner. Full throttle through here. Let it go full throttle over the crest. Throttle off for this one. Let it cruise through here. Cruise through all of these corners, a little bit of brake in there. Not too much throttle on that corner or the car will go into the wall. Throttle off, let it cruise through here. Cruise, cruise, cruise. Full throttle on here. And now you can just give it the full beans all the way down this straight. Watch out for the railings on either side. And then when you come up to this section here, you want to position yourself in the centre of the road roughly. Give it a nice bit of 50% braking, let the car cruise through those corners. Not too much throttle, slow down early on that corner. Bit of throttle. Little before there. Weave through, try and keep as straight as line as possible. Brake nice and early for this corner. Cut in early so you miss that inside wall. Come through here. Off the throttle for this crest so that the car doesn't spin or bounce. Slow down nice and early here. Drive through. Now here you want to let off the throttle. Depends what you're driving obviously, but let off the throttle in the case of the Hennessey. You can give it the full beans around here. Full beans, full beans, full beans. Little bit of braking for the crest. Let the car cruise around, not too much power. Give it some beans, not too much. Let off the throttle. Let it cruise around this corner. Don't want to end up in the wall. You want to brake nice and early here, but not too much power. That was not very good around there to be honest, but it'll do. And now you can give it the full beans all the way to the finish line. Now that wasn't a particularly fast lap, but you get the idea. My fastest ever is about 11 seconds faster than that, but still you get the idea of how to do a fast lap of Goliath. Thanks for watching.